Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Storyist. Every single one of us, no matter what our stature is in life, we all need help in some way, and we all can give help in our littlest of ways. Today, I will be telling you a story about two guys who bullied a homeless man whom, after just a few minutes, taught them an important life lesson. Larry and Fred are best friends. They do everything together, from going to school, eating their lunches at the school cafeteria, to playing by the school's court during break time. If you take a look at them, you'll only see a couple of joyful kids always having fun, not worrying about the world's problems. But Fred and Larry's lives are far from perfect. Both of them go home to very abusive parents. And that's why they always do everything together, because they know that as the school bus drops them on each of their houses, their lives will fall back to being painful and gloomy. Larry is the third of his parents' children, and all of them are forced to work day in and day out for their father's gambling and drinking problems. Their mother is a drunkard as well, and instead of working, their parents force Larry and his siblings to labor so they can have money to gamble and buy alcohol. Oftentimes, Larry and his siblings will get beaten up until they break their bones as punishment for little earnings. Fred, on the other hand, experiences almost the same story as Larry, except that he no longer has a mother. Before, Fred's family used to be close-knit, loving and caring for each other dearly, until one day Fred's mother died in an accident, and his father hasn't been the same since. His father blames his children for his wife's death, and he forces them to work day in and day out to provide for the family. He believes that this isn't enough punishment for the life they have taken. Helpless, Fred and his siblings will roam the streets every dawn and nightfall to sell merchandise with Larry's siblings. The two have also met in a market one time, selling their goods and sharing two familiar stories. Every single hit of his father's belt prints a lasting impact on Fred, and every thundering shout from Larry's father leaves an endless echo that is deafening enough for him to forget what is right and wrong. Growing up in two separate but completely similar households, Fred and Larry met their foe, violence, at an early age and have befriended it since. The two best friends love going out and going to school, not because they can learn, but because they can show other kids in town how spiteful and rude they can be. At school, lunch breaks are their favorite. This gives Fred the chance to hit his classmates and make them cry, and this allows Larry to yell at the girls in his class. Everyone is afraid of the mean duo, and they love the authority that they have among their classmates. When at home, they are helpless children who are trying to endure every hit and every punch of the people they trust the most. But on the streets, they see themselves as kings and rulers who are ready to fight those who come in their way. They know they can never fight back against the people who hurt them, so they pour all their hatred out on the people that they know are weaker than they are. One day, the two decided not to take the school bus. Instead, they walked together, playing and racing from one invisible finish line to another. Then they come across a homeless man. He is clothed in a dirty shirt and pants, and he has only a ragged bag with him. An idea crosses the minds of Larry and Fred, and they both grin in excitement. Larry sneaks to the side of the homeless man, and without him knowing, Larry snatches his bag and runs to the other side. Fred then approaches the man with his hands in his pocket.
"Hey man, can I have some spare coins? I'm really hungry and I've been walking for days,"
Fred says to the man. Pitying his situation, the man immediately turns to his bag to search for some coins. Realizing that his bag isn't there, he panics and promptly stands up, frantically looking through every corner. Fred laughs at him very hard, while Larry hides behind a huge block, laughing his heart out. The man is almost crying when Larry emerges with his bag. Eager to get his bag back, he follows Larry as he runs along the vast neighborhood. After running for almost an hour, the man stops, catching his breath. Larry and Fred then approach the man. As the poor guy is in his weak state, the two take this opportunity to open his bag. They get disappointed to see nothing inside but dirty clothes and a few coins that don't even make $1. With crossed eyebrows, Larry throws the bag in front of the man, scattering the dirty items across the ground. The man weakly picks them up one by one while tears fall down his cheeks.
I thought you really had money in your bag.
You were about to give me money earlier, weren't you? Fred asked the man.
I was about to give you a penny,
the man replies in between deep breaths. In his old age, the running he did earlier exhausted him too much. The homeless man's state doesn't even spark remorse on the two best friends. Instead, Larry motions Fred to go.
Let's just go. This beggar is wasting our time, Larry says to Fred.
The two turn around to continue walking. But before leaving, Larry turns to the poor guy and says,
"You need help."
The two then proceed to take another step in the opposite direction. But then the homeless man utters 3 words that shock the two best friends.
"Don't we all?"
the man says quietly, but not silently enough for the two friends not to hear. In unison, the two turn their heads back to the man and ask him to repeat what he just said. The man repeats his question, this time a bit louder, and the two just stand in surprise.
"We're beggars. We don't need help,"
Larry says firmly, but the homeless man slowly stands up with his bag and replies,
"Everyone, rich or poor, needs help in any way."
The poor man looks down on the children's bodies and notices huge dark bruises covering their faces and arms.
"I may not help you with a single penny, but maybe I can help you find peace in your home,"
the homeless man says. Hearing this, Fred and Larry's eyes widen, realizing that the man figured out their life behind shut doors. The two break down crying, admitting to the homeless man how cruel their lives are inside their homes. They explain to the poor guy how they never had the courage to ask for help because they know their family will always find out. And they tell him that no one actually cared enough to ask them what's going on. Moved, the homeless man packs up his things and brings the two children and the local child care services. He turns them in, and the two narrates each of their stories of abuse within their homes. Not long after, the local services go to each of their homes to arrest their parents and take the children to child care. As Larry and Fred go home with the authorities, they watch their families be separated for the better. The two of them got separated too, and it didn't take long for them to find their foster parents. But the two go to the same school, and they still get to see their siblings who were adopted by foster parents living in the same town. One day, they came across the homeless man and thanked him for his good deed. They asked him why he helped them, and he replies,
"Everyone needs help, and everyone can help in their own little ways."
That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed our video, and we'll see you in the next.